In this video, I'll be discussing problem solving. Yeah, problem solving gets quite a bad rap. I think part of that is because we've all had the wonderful opportunity to do some problem solving and we couldn't figure something out, and it honestly just made us feel kind of stupid. That's the frustrating thing about problem solving is we take it personal. But the truth of the matter is it's very important in our life to be good problem solvers. Now, certainly some of us are better than others when it comes to math types of problem solving, but the process we're going to use is useful in a lot of places. You know, Certainly when you get into a career, problem solvers are the ones that end up becoming the supervisors, the bosses, the entrepreneurs. I mean, in life, it's quite an asset to be a good problem solver. But honestly, in life, as raising a family, I raised three sons with my wife, and it was hard at times. And you don't want to just jump into decisions. It's always a good idea to think things through. And being a good problem solver is is an asset in your own personal life. So I hope that you'll work at it this session, and we're really just kind of doing some real basic stuff here, just trying to set the tone, and we'll be doing problem solving throughout this course. And I hope that when you leave, you'll feel like you're a better problem solver. I think especially when we get to the section on financial decisions and that kind of stuff, financial mathematics, I think that's a really important place, and we'll do some problem solving there. All right, so what I'd encourage you to do is read through this. This is the strategy we're going to use. And then I'm just going to mention a couple of things and we'll move on and do some problems, like what you're going to see in your homework. All right, so anyway, I hope you read through everything here, and I want to just highlight the four steps that we're going to use. Number one, you got to read the problem and make sure you understand, what are the facts that you're given, what are you asked to find. Sometimes students just want to go too fast and they haven't even understood the problem and they're trying to solve it. So that's really important. Step two, you got to come up with some kind of plan. Is it just a matter of adding some numbers, doing some other calculations? Is there some kind of an equation we can write? Is there a pattern? Is there some formula we can use? A chart or a picture can be quite helpful. Will trial and error work? We can just start plugging in some numbers. I mean, the bottom line is you got to be brave to do problem solving. You got to be willing to jump in and try something. And I think it's surprising sometimes that when you do that, you end up finding a solution and you just kind of stumble onto it. But you got to be willing to start and to put some effort into it. Number three, carry out the plan and solve the problem. And then number four, answer the question and check your answer. Make sure that you've answered the question completely. Make sure your answer seems reasonable. And if you can, check your computations. And I would just make a note of these common errors down here. These are things to watch out for. One of the big ones is copying something wrong. That can really mess you up when you're problem solving. So when you're checking answers, go back and make sure everything's been copied correctly. All right, so let's get started and do some actual problem solving. So first here, it says, what necessary piece of information is missing that prevents solving the following problem? So in the homework, they'll give you some problems like this. I think you'll also see a problem or two where you're given more information than you need, and then you'll do a few basic problem solving problems. And I'm just doing a couple with you here. And as you work through the problems in the homework, I'd encourage you to try to figure them out on your own. But then you can also click on the help buttons and get tips and some help to work your way through them. All right, so for A, it says A steak sells for $12.45. What is the cost per pound? So we're asked to find the cost per pound. Well, we have the amount of steak that we purchase, but we don't know the number of pounds. If we had the number of pounds, we would divide the cost by the number of pounds. So here we're missing the number of pounds. Now you should try B and number 2 and maybe even the next page. I would encourage you to try these problems and then watch the video. And if you get them on your own, you can pat yourself on the back and that's great. That's what I'd like to see happen. Now, if you don't get it, I hope that you'll just learn for having gone through the experience. That's the whole point of problem solving. The best way to become a better problem solver is to practice, to do it. Not everybody has that natural ability, but most of us, I'd say all of us, can work to get better at it. Okay, so on B, Maria saves $60 per week. How long will it take her to save for a new iPhone? Well, it looks like, I could save Maria could save $60 per week, but she doesn't have any idea how long it's going to take if she doesn't know the price of this iPhone. So we need to know the price or the cost of the iPhone. And then basically you could divide that number by 60 and that would tell you how many weeks. All right, let's look at number 2 now. It says by paying $100 cash up front and the balance at $20 a week, how long will it take to pay for a bicycle costing $680? That's a pretty nice bike. Actually, there are bikes that go for thousands of dollars, so $680 would be easy to spend that on a decent bike. Well, let's see. So first of all, the price of the bike is $680 and we're paying $100 up front, and so we have a balance of $580 to pay. So how many weeks is that going to take if we're paying $20 a week? Well, you could just start subtracting 20 and see how long that takes, see how many 20s, because that would tell you how many weeks since we're paying $20 a week. But repeated subtraction, that's what division's all about. We want to divide 580 by 20 to basically see how many 20s are in 580, and that'll tell us the number of weeks. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this by hand here real quick. And let's see, you don't have to do that. You could throw it into a calculator. You get 29, which means 29 weeks. Now, if you wanted to check yourself, you could multiply 20 times 29. You would get the 580 plus your 100, and that would equal the 680 you started with. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last problem. So it says you're an engineer programming the automatic gate for a 50-cent toll. The gate accepts exact change only and does not accept pennies. How many coin combinations must you program the gate to accept? Well, these days, I know around Dallas, you've got these passes you can buy, or they just send you the bill in the mail. I don't even know how many of them accept money anymore. But if you did have a toll that was accepting change, you would have to make sure that the machine recognized if you paid the correct amount, or at least enough. So in this case, I think the easiest way to do it would be to make some kind of a chart. So that's what I did. So I have my half dollars, my quarters, my dimes, and my nickels. Notice it doesn't accept pennies. So certainly if it's a 50-cent toll, I could just pay a half dollar coin. Or we could do 2 quarters. So you'll notice I kind of work my way down. I start with the bigger amounts or coin values, and I work my way down just to kind of have a pattern here so I don't miss any. When you do this, you should find 11 different combinations. So it could be 1 quarter, 2 dimes, and a nickel, 1 quarter, 1 dime, and 3 nickels, 1 quarter and 5 nickels, 5 dimes, 4 dimes and 2 nickels, 3 dimes and 4 nickels, 2 dimes and 6 nickels, 1 dime and 8 nickels, or finally you could just have 10 nickels. And so there are 11 cases or 11 combinations here. All right, that's the end of this video. Good luck with the problem solving.